What if the secret language of the internet wasn't made of ones and zeros, but of misspelled words and strangely capitalized phrases? What if this coded language, whispered between users, held the key to unlocking unimaginable online power, or just utter chaos? Tonight we won't be decoding the deepest secrets of Algospeak, or unraveling the mysteries of shadow banning. Instead, we will find our peace in the slow, methodical tick-tock of the algorithm itself, the relentless sorting and sifting, the endless stream of content being judged and categorized. We'll explore the oddly calming world of how these systems work, the logic behind the madness, the gears grinding away within the digital machine. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to Snooze Stories for more calming content designed to help you drift off. Now dim the lights. Let's begin by imagining a single post, a tiny droplet in the vast ocean of the internet. It's uploaded, tagged, and released into the wild. And from there, the algorithm takes over. Here on Snooze Stories, we're going to follow that journey, tracing the path of a single piece of content as it navigates the complex world of online algorithms and the curious evolution of Algospeak. Here on Snooze Stories, we're going to follow that journey, tracing the path of a single piece of content as it navigates the complex world of online algorithms and the curious evolution of Algospeak. Imagine the early internet, a simpler time. Picture the soft glow of a CRT monitor, the gentle hum of the dial-up modem connecting you to this nascent digital world. Back then, online communities were small, intimate gatherings, huddled around the flickering flames of message boards and forums. Think of the quiet click of the keyboard as someone typed out their thoughts, sharing them with a small, dedicated group. These were the primordial pools of online interaction, where the very first ripples of content moderation began to form. There was a certain charm to these early online spaces, a sense of shared discovery, of forging connections in a new frontier. The rules were simple, often unspoken. Netiquette, it was called. A gentle agreement to be respectful, to keep the conversation flowing smoothly. Imagine the scrolling text, line by line, appearing on your screen, a slow, deliberate conversation unfolding. There were moderators, of course, volunteers who dedicated their time to keeping the peace, nurturing the budding communities. They were the gardeners of this digital landscape, gently pruning away spam, guiding discussions back on track, ensuring everyone felt welcome. But as the internet grew, these small, manageable gardens began to transform into sprawling jungles. The gentle hum of the dial-up was replaced by the constant whir of broadband connections. More and more people flocked online, bringing with them a multitude of perspectives, opinions, and, unfortunately, less than savory intentions. The quiet click of the keyboard became a cacophony, a constant barrage of posts, comments, and messages. The early moderators, once able to manage their communities with a light touch, found themselves overwhelmed by the sheer volume of content. Imagine trying to sift through thousands of messages, each one a tiny grain of sand in an ever-expanding digital desert. The task became Herculean, impossible to manage manually. The need for a more automated solution, a way to filter and categorize this deluge of information, became increasingly apparent. Think of the early search engines, the first attempts to bring order to the chaos, to categorize and index the sprawling web. These were the precursors to the algorithms we know today, rudimentary systems designed to sift through the digital haystack and find the needles of relevant information. And so, the algorithms began to emerge, not as malicious overlords, but as helpful librarians, tasked with organizing the ever-growing library of the internet. They started simply, analyzing keywords, looking for patterns, trying to understand the context of online conversations. Imagine the whirring of the servers, the blinking lights in the server rooms as these nascent algorithms began their work. They were designed to help, to make sense of the digital deluge, to connect people with the information they sought. But even these early algorithms faced challenges. Think of the nuances of human language, the sarcasm, the irony, the subtle shifts in meaning that can change the entire context of a sentence. These were difficult concepts for a machine to grasp. The algorithms, in their early simplicity, often stumbled, misinterpreting innocent comments as spam, or failing to identify harmful content disguised in clever wording. Imagine the frustration of users, their posts mistakenly flagged, their voices silenced by an uncaring machine. And thus began the first tentative steps in the dance between users and algorithms, a delicate back and forth that would shape the future of online communication. Users, eager to express themselves, began to experiment with language, finding ways to circumvent the algorithm's limitations. Think of the early days of spam filters, the clever tricks used to bypass them, the misspelled words, the strange capitalization. These were the seeds of Algospeak, planted in the fertile ground of online frustration. The algorithms, in turn, adapted, learning from their mistakes, becoming more sophisticated in their analysis. Imagine the constant tweaking and refining, the lines of code being rewritten, the algorithms evolving, learning to recognize the patterns of human language, the subtle cues that signaled spam or harmful content. It was a slow, iterative process, a constant game of cat and mouse, each side pushing the other to adapt and evolve. And as the sun sets on this first exploration of the dawn of moderation, imagine the quiet hum of the servers, the tireless algorithms working away, sorting, categorizing, and filtering the endless stream of online content. Think of the early online communities, the flickering screens, the gentle click of keyboards, the first seeds of Algospeak being sown. Tomorrow we will delve deeper into this fascinating evolution, exploring the rise of social media and the new challenges it brought to the world of online moderation. But for now, let the slow, steady rhythm of the algorithm lull you into a peaceful slumber. Let the gentle whir of the digital world fade into the background as you drift off to sleep. But for now, let the slow, steady rhythm of the algorithm lull you into a peaceful slumber. Let the gentle whir of the digital world fade into the background as you drift off to sleep. And as the digital dawn breaks, we turn our attention to the rise of the algorithm, this silent architect shaping the landscape of online discourse. Imagine the early internet forums, bustling with activity, a vibrant tapestry of conversations woven with digital threads. The sheer volume of content, however, began to overwhelm the human moderators. Picture them, hunched over their keyboards, eyes scanning endless lines of text, trying to maintain order amidst the growing chaos. The need for an automated solution became undeniable. Think of the early search engines, those digital compasses navigating the vast uncharted waters of the internet. They were the forerunners of the algorithms we know today, simple yet powerful tools designed to sift through the ever-expanding digital library. These early algorithms operated on a foundation of keywords and patterns. Imagine them as digital librarians, meticulously cataloging every word, every phrase, every piece of online content. They searched for recurring themes, identifying keywords that signaled specific topics or sentiments. Picture the lines of code, meticulously crafted instructions guiding the algorithm's actions. They were designed to identify spam, to filter out unwanted content, to maintain a semblance of order in the burgeoning online world. Consider the challenge of teaching a machine to understand human language, with all its nuances and complexities. Imagine the difficulty of conveying the subtle difference between a genuine question and a sarcastic remark, the delicate dance between irony and sincerity. These early algorithms, in their nascent state, often struggled with these subtleties. Picture the frustration of a user whose innocent comment was mistakenly flagged as spam, their voice silenced by an uncaring, uncomprehending machine. These early missteps highlighted the limitations of purely keyword-based filtering. Imagine an algorithm encountering a post containing the word bomb. In some contexts, it might be a harmless discussion about a historical event, while in others, it could signal a genuine threat. The algorithms needed a way to understand context, to differentiate between harmless banter and harmful intent. This led to the development of more sophisticated algorithms, capable of analyzing not just individual words, but entire phrases and sentences. Picture the algorithms evolving, learning to recognize patterns of speech, the subtle cues that signaled intent. They began to consider the surrounding words, the overall tone of the conversation, in an attempt to decipher the true meaning behind the digital text. Think of the computational power required for these complex analyses, the whirring servers working tirelessly to process the ever-growing flood of online content. The algorithms became more intricate, their code branching out like the roots of a digital tree, reaching deeper into the soil of online communication. The introduction of machine learning marked a significant leap forward. Imagine the algorithms being fed vast datasets of text, learning to identify patterns and relationships between words and phrases. They began to understand the subtle nuances of language, the subtle shifts in meaning that can change the entire context of a sentence. Picture the algorithms adapting, learning from their mistakes, becoming more adept at identifying spam and harmful content. They started to recognize the telltale signs of phishing attempts, the subtle language used in hate speech, the coded messages used to circumvent censorship. However, as the algorithms became more sophisticated, so too did the methods used to bypass them. Users, ever resourceful, began to experiment with language, finding creative ways to express themselves while avoiding the watchful eye of the algorithms. Imagine the emergence of coded language, the use of euphemisms and metaphors to convey meaning without triggering the algorithm's filters. Think of the deliberate misspellings, the creative use of punctuation, the subtle shifts in syntax, all designed to slip past the algorithm's watchful gaze. This marked the beginning of the ongoing dance between users and algorithms, a constant push and pull, a perpetual game of cat and mouse. As the algorithms evolved, so too did the strategies used to circumvent them. Picture the online world as a vast, ever-shifting landscape, with users and algorithms constantly adapting to each other's moves. The algorithms became more sophisticated, their code growing more complex, their ability to understand context improving. But users, ever inventive, continued to find new ways to express themselves, to push the boundaries of online communication. Think of the constant refinement, the endless tweaking and adjusting, the algorithms learning from their mistakes, the users finding new loopholes. It was a dynamic process, a continuous evolution, a constant back and forth that would shape the future of online interaction. And as the algorithms continued their tireless work, the seeds of Algospeak were being sown, ready to sprout in the fertile ground of online ingenuity. Imagine the quiet hum of the servers, the constant flow of data, the algorithms tirelessly working to maintain order in the digital world. Let the slow, rhythmic pulse of the internet lull you into a peaceful slumber. As we prepare to explore the next chapter in this fascinating story, imagine the fertile ground of online ingenuity, a digital garden where new forms of expression blossomed. Picture the early internet forums, bustling with activity, a cacophony of voices vying for attention. Think of the limitations imposed by these early content filters, the frustration of users whose words were silenced, their thoughts trapped behind a wall of algorithmic restrictions. Feel the quiet simmering of discontent, the desire to circumvent these limitations to find new ways to express themselves. This frustration, this desire, became the catalyst for the birth of Algospeak. Picture the first tentative steps, the initial experiments with coded language. Imagine users substituting words, replacing forbidden terms with innocuous alternatives. Think of the word drugs replaced with vitamin D, the subtle shift in meaning, the wink and nod shared between those in the know. Visualize the coded messages, the hidden meanings embedded within seemingly innocent phrases. Feel the thrill of circumventing the algorithms, the satisfaction of communicating under the radar. Consider the motivation behind these early adaptations. It wasn't just about bypassing censorship, it was also about creating a sense of community, a shared secret language that bound users together. Imagine the feeling of belonging, the sense of camaraderie, among those who understood the code, who could decipher the hidden messages. Picture the online forums transforming into secret societies, their members communicating in a language understood only by the initiated. Feel the warmth of connection, the shared understanding that solidified the bonds between these digital pioneers. The early forms of Algospeak were often simple, relying on straightforward substitutions and coded phrases. Think of the use of asterisks to replace vowels in sensitive words, the creative use of abbreviations and acronyms to convey hidden meanings. Imagine the algorithms struggling to keep up, their keyword-based filters easily circumvented by these simple linguistic tricks. Picture the users reveling in their ingenuity, their ability to outsmart the machines. Feel the sense of triumph, the small victory against the uncaring algorithms. As the algorithms evolved, so too did Algospeak. Imagine the constant back and forth, the perpetual game of cat and mouse between users and algorithms. Think of the algorithms learning to recognize these simple substitutions, their code adapting to the new challenges. Picture the users responding in kind, developing more sophisticated methods of circumvention, their creativity spurred by the ever-present threat of censorship. Feel the dynamic tension, the constant push and pull between innovation and restriction. The development of Algospeak was a collaborative effort, a collective project driven by the shared desire to communicate freely. Imagine users sharing tips and tricks in online forums, exchanging strategies for bypassing the algorithms. Think of the collective knowledge growing, the shared understanding deepening, the language of Algospeak evolving organically, shaped by the needs and desires of its users. Picture the forums buzzing with activity, a constant stream of new ideas, new codes, new ways to express themselves. Feel the energy of this collective endeavor, the shared purpose that united these digital pioneers. The rise of social media platforms further accelerated the development of Algospeak. Imagine the vast networks of interconnected users, the constant flow of information, the rapid spread of new ideas. Think of the algorithms struggling to keep pace with the sheer volume of content, their filters overwhelmed by the deluge of data. Picture the users exploiting these weaknesses, finding new ways to circumvent the algorithms, their coded language spreading like wildfire across the digital landscape. Feel the momentum building, the unstoppable force of online ingenuity. Algospeak wasn't just about avoiding censorship, it was also about adapting to the limitations of the platforms themselves. Imagine the character limits imposed by platforms like Twitter, the need to convey complex ideas in concise, coded messages. Think of the creative use of hashtags, the clever manipulation of syntax, the subtle use of emojis to convey hidden meanings. Picture the users mastering the art of brevity, their messages packed with meaning, their words carefully chosen to maximize impact. Feel the satisfaction of expressing oneself within the constraints of the platform, the triumph of ingenuity over limitation. The evolution of Algospeak was a reflection of the changing online landscape, a testament to the resilience and adaptability of online communities. Imagine the constant shifts in the digital world, the ever-evolving algorithms, the constant pressure to adapt. Think of the users rising to the challenge, their creativity spurred by the need to communicate freely, their ingenuity fueled by the desire to connect with others. Picture the online world, transforming, evolving, adapting, a dynamic ecosystem of language and technology. Feel the constant hum of change, the quiet revolution taking place in the digital realm. As Algospeak continued to evolve, it began to seep into mainstream online culture, its influence spreading beyond the confines of niche communities. Imagine the coded language becoming more commonplace, its subtle nuances understood by a wider audience. Think of the algorithm struggling to keep up, their filters increasingly ineffective against the ever-evolving language of Algospeak. Picture the lines blurring between coded language and everyday online communication, the subtle shifts in meaning becoming increasingly difficult to detect. Feel the quiet transformation taking place, the slow but steady integration of Algospeak into the fabric of online discourse, the subtle shifts in meaning becoming increasingly difficult to detect. Feel the quiet transformation taking place, the slow but steady integration of Algospeak into the fabric of online discourse. Imagine the coded language, once confined to the shadowy corners of the internet, now emerging into the light, its presence felt in everyday online conversations. Think of the algorithms, once so effective at policing online speech, now struggling to keep pace with the ever-evolving language of Algospeak. Picture the users, once a small dedicated group, now a vast interconnected network, their shared language a testament to their collective ingenuity. Feel the power of this shared language, the sense of community it fostered, the quiet revolution it sparked. As Algospeak spread, it began to fragment, evolving into a multitude of dialects, each tailored to the specific needs of different online communities. Imagine the language branching out, adapting to the unique challenges and demands of various platforms and subcultures. Think of the gamers developing their own specialized vocabulary, the activists crafting coded messages for political organizing, the marginalized communities finding new ways to express themselves in the face of discrimination. Picture a vibrant tapestry of linguistic innovation, a kaleidoscope of coded languages, each with its own unique set of rules and conventions. Feel the richness and diversity of this evolving language, the constant push and pull between standardization and fragmentation. The development of shared vocabularies was crucial to the spread of Algospeak. Imagine the creation of online glossaries, the compilation of commonly used terms and phrases, the dissemination of this knowledge through online forums and social media platforms. Think of the users contributing to these collective dictionaries, sharing their knowledge, expanding the lexicon of Algospeak. Picture these online resources becoming invaluable tools for newcomers, providing a gateway into the coded language, enabling them to participate in the online conversation. Feel the sense of shared ownership, the collective effort to build and maintain this evolving language. As Algospeak became more widespread, it also became more subtle. Imagine the shift away from obvious substitutions in coded phrases towards more nuanced forms of linguistic manipulation. Think of the clever use of homophones, the subtle alterations in spelling, the strategic use of punctuation to convey hidden meanings. Picture the algorithms struggling to detect these subtle shifts in language, their keyword-based filters becoming increasingly ineffective. Feel the growing sophistication of Algospeak, its evolution from a crude code to a more refined and nuanced form of online communication. The rise of visual communication also played a significant role in the evolution of Algospeak. Imagine the increasing use of emojis, memes, and GIFs to convey coded messages. Think of the users repurposing existing images, adding layers of meaning, creating a visual language that bypassed the limitations of text-based algorithms. Picture the algorithms struggling to interpret the meaning behind these visual cues, their focus on text rendering them blind to the nuances of visual communication. Feel the power of images to transcend language barriers, to convey complex ideas in a single frame, to create a sense of shared understanding. The constant cat and mouse game between users and algorithms continued to drive the evolution of Algospeak. Imagine the algorithms adapting to new forms of coded language, their filters becoming more sophisticated, their ability to detect subtle linguistic manipulations improving. Think of the users responding in kind, developing new strategies, finding new ways to circumvent the algorithms, their creativity spurred by the ever-present threat of censorship. Picture a constant back and forth, a perpetual cycle of innovation and adaptation, a dynamic interplay between human ingenuity and artificial intelligence. Feel the relentless pressure to evolve, the constant need to stay one step ahead of the machines. The development of Algospeak was not without its challenges. Imagine the difficulty of maintaining consistency across different platforms and communities, the risk of misinterpretation, the potential for coded language to be used for harmful purposes. Think of the ongoing debates within online communities about the ethics of Algospeak, the concerns about its potential to exclude those who were not in the know, the challenges of balancing the need for free expression with the need to prevent harm. Picture the ongoing discussions, the passionate arguments, the constant struggle to find a balance between freedom and responsibility. Feel the weight of these ethical dilemmas, the complexities of navigating the ever-evolving landscape of online communication. Despite these challenges, Algospeak continued to flourish, becoming an integral part of online culture. Imagine the coded language permeating everyday online conversations, its influence felt in everything from social media posts to online gaming forums. Think of the algorithms struggling to keep up, their filters constantly being updated, their code constantly being rewritten in a futile attempt to contain the ever-evolving language of Algospeak. Picture the users adapting, innovating, communicating, their shared language a testament to their resilience, their creativity, their determination to connect with one another in the face of adversity. Feel the enduring power of language, the human capacity for adaptation, the unwavering spirit of online communities. The rise of Algospeak was a quiet revolution, a testament to the power of collective action, a reminder that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles, human ingenuity will always find a way. Now, as the hum of the digital world fades into the background, let yourself drift into the quiet stillness of the night. Breathe deeply and allow the fascinating story of Algospeak to lull you into a peaceful slumber. The algorithms, however, were not static entities. Imagine vast server farms humming, lights blinking in rhythmic patterns, the tireless processors constantly churning, analyzing, learning. Feel the cool air circulating through the data centers, the low thrum of the machinery, a constant presence. These algorithms, designed to maintain order and control the flow of online information, began to adapt to the evolving language of Algospeak. Picture lines of code being rewritten, new parameters being set, algorithms becoming more sophisticated, more attuned to the subtle nuances of online communication. Think of the keyword-based filters, initially effective in catching obvious code words and phrases, now being augmented with more complex algorithms. Imagine the algorithms learning to recognize patterns, to identify recurring combinations of words and symbols, to detect subtle shifts in language that might indicate coded communication. Feel the algorithms evolving, learning, adapting, their digital tentacles reaching out to grasp the ever-shifting landscape of online language. The introduction of sentiment analysis added another layer of complexity. Picture the algorithms analyzing not just the words themselves, but also the emotional context in which they were used. Imagine the algorithms learning to differentiate between genuine expressions of emotion and coded messages disguised as innocent banter. Feel the algorithms delving deeper into the nuances of human communication, their ability to interpret meaning becoming increasingly sophisticated. The use of machine learning allowed the algorithms to adapt to new forms of Algospeak in real time. Think of vast data sets of online conversations being fed into the algorithms, training them to recognize new patterns, to identify emerging trends in coded language. Imagine the algorithms constantly learning, constantly evolving, their ability to detect Algospeak becoming more refined with each passing day. Feel the relentless pace of technological advancement, the constant push to improve, to refine, to perfect, the art of online moderation. The algorithms also began to incorporate contextual analysis. Picture the algorithms analyzing not just individual words or phrases, but also the surrounding text, the user's history, the overall context of the conversation. Imagine the algorithms taking into account the user's online behavior, their past interactions, their social connections, to determine the likelihood of coded communication. Feel the algorithms building detailed profiles of online users, their digital eyes watching, observing, analyzing every online interaction. But if you actually go to a site, like My Blockage, the rise of image recognition technology further enhanced the algorithm's ability to detect visual forms of Algospeak. Think of the algorithms learning to identify memes, emojis, and GIFs associated with coded messages. Imagine the algorithms analyzing the visual content of images, recognizing patterns, detecting subtle alterations that might indicate hidden meanings. Feel the algorithms expanding their reach, their ability to interpret visual communication becoming increasingly sophisticated. The development of natural language processing, NLP, allowed the algorithms to understand the nuances of human language with greater accuracy. Picture the algorithms parsing sentences, identifying grammatical structures, understanding the relationships between words and phrases. Imagine the algorithms learning to interpret slang, idioms, and colloquialisms, their ability to decipher the complexities of human language becoming increasingly refined. Feel the algorithms bridging the gap between human and machine communication, their ability to understand natural language, approaching human levels of comprehension. As the algorithms evolved, so too did Algospeak. Imagine the users developing new strategies, finding new ways to circumvent the increasingly sophisticated filters. Think of the constant back and forth, the perpetual cycle of innovation and adaptation, the ongoing arms race between users and algorithms. Feel the relentless pressure to evolve, the constant need to stay one step ahead of the machines, the development of new coding techniques such as steganography, allowed users to hide messages within seemingly innocuous content. Imagine text hidden within images, code embedded within audio files, secret messages concealed within the digital fabric of online communication. Think of the algorithms struggling to detect these hidden messages, their filters unable to penetrate the layers of obfuscation. Feel the growing sophistication of Algospeak, its evolution from a simple code to a complex and multifaceted form of online communication. The use of homophones and deliberate misspellings became more prevalent, allowing users to bypass keyword-based filters. Imagine words subtly altered, spellings intentionally mangled, creating a distorted language that was both comprehensible to humans and indecipherable to machines. Think of the algorithms struggling to keep up, their filters becoming increasingly ineffective against these evolving forms of linguistic manipulation. Feel the constant push and pull, the ongoing battle between human ingenuity and artificial intelligence. The algorithm struck back, but the users of Algospeak were ready. The dance continued, a complex and ever-shifting ballet of language, code, and the human desire to connect. Imagine the silent hum of the servers, the quiet click of keyboards, the constant flow of information across the digital landscape. Feel the pulse of the internet, the vibrant energy of online communities, the enduring power of human connection. The story of Algospeak, far from over, was just beginning to unfold. Now, let the gentle hum of the digital world lull you into a peaceful slumber. Breathe deeply, and allow the intricacies of this ongoing narrative to carry you into the quiet stillness of the night. The users of Algospeak, resourceful and ever vigilant, began to employ a series of evasive maneuvers. Imagine a digital game of hide-and-seek, played out across the vast expanse of the internet. Feel the thrill of the chase, the constant back and forth between the users and the algorithms, each trying to outwit the other. The first tactic in this great evasion was the deliberate misspelling of words. Picture words subtly altered, vowels swapped, consonants dropped, creating a distorted version of language that was still comprehensible to the human eye, but often slipped past the watchful gaze of the algorithms. Imagine typing PH4RM_psi instead of pharmacy, the numbers replacing letters, the meaning remaining intact, but the form transformed. Feel the satisfaction of slipping past the digital gatekeepers, the quiet thrill of successful evasion. The algorithms, trained on dictionaries and proper grammar, often struggle to recognize these misspelled words, their rigid rules unable to adapt to the fluidity of human language. Next came the strategic insertion of special characters. Picture punctuation marks sprinkled throughout words, hyphens breaking up syllables, asterisks creating constellations within sentences. Imagine typing ECSE, the asterisks, acting as camouflage, obscuring the word from the algorithm's prying eyes. Feel the sense of intrigue, the hidden meaning embedded within seemingly innocuous text. These special characters, like tiny digital glitches, disrupted the algorithm's ability to parse sentences and identify keywords, adding another layer of complexity to the ongoing linguistic battle. Then came the rise of coded emojis. Picture tiny digital icons imbued with hidden meanings conveying messages that transcended the limitations of words. Imagine a skull emoji representing danger, a fire emoji signifying urgency, a string of seemingly random emojis forming a secret code understood only by those in the know. Feel the sense of community, the shared understanding that binds together those who speak the language of Algospeak. Emojis, originally designed to express emotions, became tools of subversion, their visual nature adding another dimension to the ongoing linguistic evolution. The algorithms, initially oblivious to the symbolic power of these tiny icons, began to adapt, learning to recognize patterns, to identify emojis associated with coded messages. Imagine the algorithms analyzing the frequency of certain emojis, tracking their usage across different platforms, building databases of emoji meanings. Feel the algorithms constantly learning, constantly evolving, their reach extending into the visual realm. The users of Algospeak in turn adapted their tactics, creating new combinations of emojis, developing increasingly complex codes, always staying one step ahead of the machines. This constant back and forth, this ongoing game of cat and mouse, fueled the evolution of Algospeak, driving it towards greater complexity, greater sophistication. Imagine the users constantly experimenting, pushing the boundaries of language, exploring new ways to circumvent the ever-evolving algorithms. Feel the relentless pressure to innovate, the constant need to adapt, the driving force behind the evolution of online communication. The algorithms, powered by machine learning, began to incorporate contextual analysis, examining not just individual words or symbols, but also the surrounding text, the user's history, the overall context of the conversation. Imagine the algorithms building detailed profiles of online users, tracking their every move, analyzing their every interaction. Feel the algorithm's presence, their digital eyes watching, observing, learning. The users of Algospeak responded by developing strategies to disguise their coded messages, embedding them within seemingly innocuous conversations, blending them seamlessly into the background noise of the internet. The development of steganography, the art of hiding messages within other content, added another layer of complexity. Imagine text hidden within images, code embedded within audio files, secret messages concealed within the digital fabric of online communication. Think of the algorithms struggling to detect these hidden messages, their filters unable to penetrate the layers of obfuscation. Feel the thrill of the hidden, the secret communication taking place just beneath the surface. The algorithms responded by developing more sophisticated image recognition and audio analysis techniques, attempting to uncover the hidden messages, to peel back the layers of obfuscation. Imagine the algorithms scanning images pixel by pixel, analyzing audio frequencies, searching for anomalies, for any sign of hidden communication. Feel the constant pressure, the relentless pursuit, the ongoing battle between concealment and detection. As the algorithms evolved, so too did Algospeak, the two locked in a perpetual dance of innovation and adaptation. Imagine the users developing new techniques, the algorithms adapting to counter them, the cycle repeating endlessly. Feel the constant push and pull, the ongoing arms race, the relentless drive to stay ahead of the game. The story of Algospeak, a testament to human ingenuity and the enduring desire to communicate freely, continued to unfold, its chapters written in the ever-shifting language of the internet. Let the gentle hum of this digital symphony lull you into a peaceful slumber, the complex interplay of language and code carrying you into the quiet stillness of the night. The context, you see, is everything. Imagine trying to understand a single word floating in the vast emptiness of space. Run, for example. Feel the ambiguity. Is it a noun, a verb, an adjective? Is it a command, a description, a plea? Without context, it remains a mystery, a fragment of language adrift in a sea of possibilities. Now imagine that word nestled within a sentence. Run to the store. Feel the clarity emerging. The verb takes shape. The action becomes defined. The purpose revealed. The context provides the framework, the scaffolding upon which meaning is built. Now, imagine that sentence within a paragraph, a story, a whole world of words woven together. The rain was coming down in sheets, and the wind howled like a hungry wolf. Run to the store and get some bread before it closes. Feel the urgency, the desperation, the cold rain on your skin. The context deepens, the meaning expands. The word run takes on a new dimension of significance. The algorithms, in their early days, struggled with this concept of context. They saw words as isolated units, devoid of the rich tapestry of meaning that surrounds them. Imagine them scanning text, their digital eyes fixated on keywords, oblivious to the nuances of human language. Feel their limitations, their inability to grasp the subtleties of communication. This inability to understand context created a fertile ground for Algospeak to flourish. Users, aware of the algorithm's blind spots, began to exploit the gap between word and meaning, crafting messages that appeared innocuous on the surface, but carried hidden meanings beneath the surface. Imagine the word fire, flagged by algorithms designed to detect hate speech or calls to violence. Now, picture that same word used in a different context. Gather around the fire and let's tell stories. Feel the warmth of the flames, the crackling of the wood, the sense of community. The context transforms the word, shifting its meaning from a threat to an invitation. Algospeak users understood this power of context, using it to their advantage, crafting messages that bypass the algorithm's filters while still conveying their intended meaning. Think of the phrase, "meet me at the corner," a seemingly innocent arrangement. Now, imagine that phrase used in a context of illicit activities, a coded message for a drug deal or a clandestine meeting. Feel the tension, the secrecy, the hidden meaning embedded within the ordinary words. The algorithms, lacking the ability to discern the context, would often miss these coded messages, allowing them to slip through the cracks of the digital world. This cat-and-mouse game between users and algorithms continued, with each side constantly adapting, evolving, and learning from the other. Imagine a user posting a seemingly innocuous message about gardening. "I need to fertilize my plants." Now imagine that message being used in a community known for discussing illegal substances, where fertilizer is a code word for a specific drug. Feel the double meaning, the hidden layer of communication accessible only to those in the know. The algorithms analyzing the message in isolation would see nothing amiss, a simple statement about gardening. But within the context of the community, the message takes on a completely different meaning. The challenge for algorithms became not just identifying keywords, but also understanding the context in which those keywords were used. Imagine the algorithms trying to decipher the meaning of tea, a word that could refer to a beverage, a gossip session, or a coded message depending on the context. Feel the complexity, the layers of meaning, the difficulty of disentangling the intended message from the surrounding noise. This context conundrum fueled the development of increasingly sophisticated Algospeak, pushing users to become more creative, more nuanced, more adept at manipulating language. Imagine a message containing the phrase, "going on a trip," a seemingly harmless statement about travel. Now, imagine that phrase used in a community known for discussing psychedelic drug use, where trip refers to a hallucinogenic experience. Feel the shift in meaning, the hidden world revealed by the context. The algorithms, struggling to keep up, began to incorporate contextual analysis into their filtering systems, attempting to understand not just individual words, but also the relationships between those words, the surrounding text, the user's history, the overall context of the conversation. Imagine the algorithms building profiles of online users, tracking their interactions, analyzing their language patterns, attempting to build a picture of their online identities. Feel the algorithm's presence, their digital eyes watching, observing, learning. This increased surveillance, however, also prompted users to become even more cautious, more secretive, more adept at concealing their true intentions. The context conundrum, this ongoing struggle to understand the nuances of human language, continued to shape the evolution of Algospeak, driving it towards greater complexity, greater sophistication, and a deeper understanding of the interplay between language, context, and meaning. Let the gentle hum of this ongoing linguistic battle lull you into a peaceful slumber, the complex interplay of words and meanings carrying you into the quiet stillness of the night. Let the complexity of this digital dance settle upon you, the constant back and forth, the push and pull between human ingenuity and algorithmic precision. Imagine a vast, dimly lit room filled with rows upon rows of screens, the soft glow illuminating the faces of human moderators. Feel the hum of the servers, the gentle click of keyboards, the quiet murmur of voices. These are the human gatekeepers, the arbiters of online content, the individuals tasked with deciphering the nuances of human language that elude the algorithm's grasp. Imagine them scrolling through endless streams of text, images, and videos, their eyes scanning for signs of Algospeak, their minds grappling with the ever-shifting landscape of online communication. Feel the weight of their responsibility, the burden of making judgments, the challenge of navigating the complex and often ambiguous world of online expression. The human element adds a layer of complexity to the Algospeak equation. Unlike algorithms which operate based on pre-programmed rules and patterns, human moderators possess the capacity for empathy, intuition, and contextual understanding. Imagine a moderator encountering a message flagged by the algorithm for containing a potentially offensive word. Feel the moderator pausing, taking a moment to consider the context of the message, the user's history, the overall tone of the conversation. Perhaps the word was used ironically, sarcastically, or in a context that negates its offensive meaning. The human moderator, equipped with the ability to understand nuance and context, can make a judgment call that an algorithm might miss. Imagine the moderator deciding to allow the message, recognizing that its intended meaning does not align with the algorithmic interpretation. Feel the subtle shift in the balance of power, the human element overriding the algorithmic decision. This human intervention, however, also influences the evolution of Algospeak. As users observe the decisions made by human moderators, they begin to understand the boundaries of what is permissible and what is not. Imagine a user noticing that certain coded messages are consistently flagged by moderators while others slip through unnoticed. Feel the user adapting their language, refining their techniques, becoming more adept at crafting messages that bypass both algorithmic filters and human scrutiny. The human element therefore becomes a driving force in the evolution of Algospeak, pushing users to become more creative, more subtle, more attuned to the nuances of online communication. Consider the challenge of identifying hate speech disguised as seemingly innocuous language. Imagine a moderator encountering a message that uses coded language to express discriminatory views. Feel the moderator carefully analyzing the message, looking for subtle clues, deciphering the hidden meaning behind the seemingly harmless words. The human moderator, equipped with cultural knowledge and an understanding of social context, can identify these hidden messages even when the algorithms fail to detect them. Imagine the moderator flagging the message, removing it from the platform, preventing the spread of harmful content. Feel the satisfaction of intervention, the sense of protecting online communities from harmful language. This human intervention, however, also provides valuable feedback to the algorithm developers. The decisions made by human moderators become data points, used to train and refine the algorithm's ability to detect Algospeak. Imagine the algorithm developers analyzing the flagged messages, identifying patterns in the language used, incorporating these patterns into the algorithm's detection mechanisms. Feel the algorithms learning, evolving, becoming more attuned to the nuances of human language. The human element, therefore, plays a crucial role in the ongoing development of algorithmic detection, helping to close the gap between human understanding and algorithmic precision. The interplay between human moderators and algorithms creates a dynamic and ever-evolving landscape of online communication. Imagine a constant back and forth, a continuous cycle of adaptation and refinement. Feel the algorithms learning from human moderators and the users learning from both. This dynamic interaction shapes the development of Algospeak, pushing it towards greater complexity, greater subtlety, and a deeper understanding of the limitations and possibilities of online language. Imagine a user crafting a message, carefully choosing their words, anticipating the algorithm's response, anticipating the human moderator's scrutiny. Feel the tension, the anticipation, the constant awareness of the unseen forces shaping the flow of online communication. Let the gentle hum of this ongoing interaction lull you into a state of relaxation. The constant push and pull, the subtle shifts in power, the ever-evolving landscape of online language. Imagine the human moderators, the algorithm developers, the users, all engaged in a complex dance, a silent negotiation over the meaning and interpretation of words. Feel the rhythm of this digital dance, the slow, deliberate unfolding of the Algospeak story. Let the complexity of this interaction wash over you, carrying you deeper into the quiet stillness of the night. The human element, the algorithmic precision, the ongoing quest to understand and control the flow of online communication. Let these thoughts gently fade as you drift towards sleep, the quiet hum of the digital world lulling you into a peaceful slumber. The quiet hum of the digital world, a constant background noise in the modern age. Imagine this hum as a symphony of sorts, composed of countless individual voices, each contributing to the overall melody. Feel the vibrations of this digital symphony, the subtle pulsations of information flowing across networks, connecting individuals across continents. And within this vast symphony, a particular motif begins to emerge, a subtle counterpoint to the dominant melody. This motif, this subtle shift in the digital soundscape, is the sound of misinformation spreading, amplified and distorted by the very tools designed to connect us. Consider the nature of misinformation, the way it weaves its way into the fabric of online discourse. Imagine a single false statement, a seed of doubt planted in fertile ground. Feel the tendrils of this falsehood reaching out, connecting to other narratives, intertwining with existing beliefs and biases. The human mind, ever seeking patterns and connections, can be easily swayed by narratives that confirm pre-existing beliefs, regardless of their veracity. Imagine a user encountering a piece of misinformation that aligns with their worldview. Feel the sense of validation, the reinforcement of existing prejudices. The user shares the information, amplifying its reach, spreading the seeds of doubt further afield. Algospeak, in its constant quest to circumvent algorithmic filters, can inadvertently become a vehicle for the spread of misinformation. Imagine a user crafting a message containing misinformation, carefully choosing their words to avoid detection. Feel the deliberate obfuscation, the subtle manipulation of language to bypass the algorithm's scrutiny. The message, cloaked in the guise of innocuous language, slips through the filters, reaching a wider audience than it might otherwise have. Imagine the message spreading, replicating itself across networks, infecting the digital ecosystem with its falsehoods. Consider the challenge of combating misinformation in the age of Algospeak. Imagine a moderator encountering a message containing coded language that subtly promotes a conspiracy theory. Feel the moderator struggling to decipher the message, to discern the hidden meaning beneath the surface of seemingly harmless words. The coded language, designed to evade algorithmic detection, also makes it more difficult for human moderators to identify and address the spread of misinformation. Imagine the moderator hesitating, uncertain whether to flag the message or allow it to remain. Feel the weight of responsibility, the burden of making judgments that could have far-reaching consequences. The spread of misinformation is not merely a technical problem, it is a social problem, rooted in the complex interplay of human psychology, social dynamics, and technological advancements. Imagine a community online, a network of individuals connected by shared interests and beliefs. Feel the sense of belonging, the comfort of finding like-minded individuals. Within this community, misinformation can spread rapidly, reinforced by social validation and the echo chamber effect. Imagine a user encountering a piece of misinformation shared by a trusted friend or family member. Feel the implicit trust, the assumption of veracity. The user is more likely to accept the information without question, further amplifying its reach. Consider the ethical implications of using Algospeak to spread misinformation. Imagine a user intentionally crafting a message containing false information using coded language to bypass filters and manipulate public opinion. Feel the deliberate malice, the calculated exploitation of online platforms for nefarious purposes. The use of Algospeak for such purposes raises profound ethical questions about the responsibility of individuals and platforms in combating the spread of misinformation. Imagine the potential consequences of such actions, the erosion of trust, the polarization of society. Feel the urgency of addressing this challenge, the need for collective action to protect the integrity of online information. I, Schmuck, Lubi, Vienekest, Kaluch, Zolen, Kreshle, Sabut, Le. The challenge of balancing free speech with content moderation becomes even more complex in the context of Algospeak. Imagine a platform struggling to strike a balance between allowing users to express themselves freely and preventing the spread of harmful content. Feel the tension between these competing values, the difficulty of finding a solution that satisfies all stakeholders. Algospeak, with its inherent ambiguity and coded language, makes this balancing act even more precarious. Imagine a user arguing that their use of Algospeak is a form of protected speech, a way to express themselves freely without fear of censorship. Feel the conviction in their voice, the belief in their right to communicate without restriction. Consider the ongoing efforts to develop more sophisticated algorithms that can detect and flag misinformation, even when it is disguised in Algospeak. Imagine a team of algorithm developers working tirelessly to improve the accuracy and effectiveness of their detection mechanisms. Feel the dedication, the commitment to creating a safer and more informative online environment. These developers are constantly refining their algorithms, incorporating new data points, adapting to the ever-evolving tactics used by those who spread misinformation. Imagine the algorithms learning, evolving, becoming more attuned to the nuances of human language, the subtle cues that can reveal the presence of misinformation. Feel the slow, steady progress, the gradual improvement in the algorithm's ability to identify and filter out harmful content. The fight against misinformation is a continuous process, a constant back and forth between those who seek to spread falsehoods and those who strive to protect the integrity of online information. Imagine this ongoing struggle as a digital arms race, a constant escalation of tactics and counter-tactics. Feel the dynamic tension, the ever-shifting landscape of online communication. Let the complexity of this struggle wash over you, carrying you deeper into the quiet stillness of the night. The hum of the digital world, the subtle whispers of misinformation, the constant efforts to combat its spread. Let these thoughts gently fade as you drift towards sleep, lulled by the rhythm of the digital age. The algorithms learning, evolving, becoming more attuned to the nuances of human language, the subtle cues that can reveal the presence of misinformation. Feel the weight of these digital sentinels, constantly scanning, analyzing, filtering the vast ocean of online content. Imagine the complex algorithms, intricate webs of code designed to identify patterns, to distinguish between truth and falsehood. But within these algorithms, a hidden danger lurks. A subtle bias that can inadvertently perpetuate and even amplify existing societal prejudices. Imagine a data set used to train an algorithm, a vast collection of text and images scraped from the internet. Feel the sheer volume of data in the scale of this digital archive. Within this data, biases may be embedded, reflecting the prejudices and inequalities present in the real world. Imagine an algorithm trained on a dataset that overrepresents certain demographics or viewpoints. Feel the subtle skew, the imperceptible tilt towards one perspective over another. This bias can manifest in unexpected ways, influencing the algorithm's decisions, shaping its perception of reality. Imagine the algorithm encountering a piece of content that challenges its ingrained biases. Feel the cognitive dissonance, the internal struggle, as the algorithm attempts to reconcile conflicting information. The algorithm, trained on biased data, may be more likely to dismiss or downplay content that contradicts its pre-existing assumption. Consider the implications of this algorithmic bias in the context of Algospeak. Imagine a user employing Algospeak to express a marginalized viewpoint, a perspective that challenges the dominant narrative. Feel the user's frustration, the sense of being silenced, of having their voice suppressed. The algorithm, trained on biased data, may be more likely to flag this content as problematic, even if it does not violate any community guideline. Imagine the user's message being flagged, removed, or shadow banned. Feel the sting of censorship, the sense of injustice. The user, attempting to circumvent algorithmic bias, may inadvertently trigger the very biases they are trying to avoid. Imagine a feedback loop, a self-perpetuating cycle in which algorithmic bias reinforces existing societal inequalities. Feel the weight of this systemic problem, the difficulty of breaking free from this cycle. The algorithm, by suppressing marginalized voices, reinforces the dominant narrative, further entrenching existing power structures. Imagine a researcher studying the impact of algorithmic bias on online discourse. Feel the researcher's curiosity, the desire to understand the complex interplay between technology and society. The researcher meticulously analyzes data, looking for patterns, seeking to uncover the hidden biases embedded within algorithms. Imagine the researcher poring over spreadsheets, charts, and graphs, tracing the flow of information, mapping the contours of online communities. Feel the slow, painstaking process of scientific inquiry, the careful analysis of data. The researcher's findings reveal a disturbing trend, a pattern of algorithmic bias that disproportionately impacts marginalized groups. Imagine the researcher presenting their findings at a conference, sharing their insights with a room full of academics, policymakers, and tech industry professionals. Feel the weight of their words, the urgency of their message. The researcher's work sheds light on the unintended consequences of algorithmic bias, highlighting the need for greater transparency and accountability in the development and deployment of these powerful technologies. Consider the ethical implications of algorithmic bias. Imagine a developer working on a content moderation algorithm, grappling with the challenge of balancing free speech with the need to prevent the spread of harmful content. Feel the developer's sense of responsibility, the awareness of the potential impact of their work. The developer recognizes the risk of algorithmic bias, the possibility that their algorithm could inadvertently perpetuate and amplify existing societal prejudices. Imagine the developer implementing measures to mitigate bias, carefully curating training data, testing the algorithm for fairness and accuracy. Feel the developer's commitment to ethical AI development, the desire to create technology that serves the common good. The developer's efforts represent a small step towards a more equitable and just digital world. Imagine a future in which algorithms are designed with fairness and inclusivity in mind, a future in which technology empowers marginalized communities rather than silencing them. Feel the sense of hope, the possibility of a more just and equitable digital landscape. This future is not guaranteed, but it is within our reach. It requires a collective effort, a commitment from developers, policymakers, and users alike to create a digital world that reflects the best of human values. Let this vision of a more just and equitable future guide you as you drift off to sleep, lulled by the gentle hum of the digital age, the algorithms, the biases, the challenges, the possibilities. Let these thoughts gently fade as you descend into the quiet stillness of the night. The algorithms, the biases, the possibilities, imagine them now not as static lines of code, but as evolving entities learning, adapting, shifting in the digital winds. Feel the subtle hum of servers processing unimaginable quantities of data, a constant low thrum that vibrates through the very fabric of our connected world. This hum is the heartbeat of the digital age, the rhythmic pulse of algorithms at work. Imagine Algospeak not as a fixed lexicon, but as a living language, constantly evolving in response to the pressures of algorithmic scrutiny. Feel the push and pull, the dynamic interplay between language and code, a constant dance between expression and suppression. Picture the future, a digital landscape shaped by the relentless advance of artificial intelligence. Imagine algorithms growing more sophisticated, more nuanced in their understanding of language, capable of deciphering not only the literal meaning of words, but also the subtle connotations, the underlying intent, the emotional charge. Feel the weight of this algorithmic gaze, the sense of being constantly observed, analyzed, categorized. Consider the implications for Algospeak. Imagine users adapting their tactics, developing new strategies to evade algorithmic detection. Feel the thrill of the chase, the intellectual challenge of outsmarting the machines. Picture the emergence of new forms of Algospeak, cryptic symbols, coded language, intricate linguistic puzzles designed to confound the algorithms. Imagine the algorithms responding in kind, learning to decipher these new codes, adapting to the ever-shifting landscape of online language. Feel the cyclical nature of this arms race, the constant back and forth between human ingenuity and artificial intelligence. Imagine a future where Algospeak becomes increasingly personalized, tailored to the specific biases and vulnerabilities of individual algorithms. Feel the granular precision of this targeted approach, the laser-like focus on exploiting algorithmic weaknesses. Picture users developing personalized Algospeak dictionaries, customized lexicons designed to bypass the filters of specific platforms or algorithms. Imagine the algorithms struggling to keep pace, overwhelmed by the sheer diversity of Algospeak dialects. Consider the potential impact of machine learning on this linguistic arms race. Imagine algorithms learning to anticipate new forms of Algospeak, predicting the evolution of online language based on past patterns and trends. Feel the predictive power of these algorithms, the ability to anticipate and counteract new strategies before they even emerge. Picture users employing counter strategies, developing techniques to disrupt algorithmic predictions, injecting randomness and unpredictability into their online communications. Imagine the algorithms adapting once again, learning to account for this new level of complexity, incorporating the element of surprise into their own calculations. Feel the escalating complexity of this digital dance, the constant evolution of both language and code. Consider the possibility of Algospeak becoming integrated into everyday language, seeping into the fabric of online communication, transforming the way we speak and write online. Imagine a future where Algospeak is no longer a niche phenomenon, but a ubiquitous feature of the digital landscape. Feel the normalization of Algospeak, the gradual acceptance of coded language as a necessary tool for navigating the complexities of online communication. Picture a world where Algospeak is not just a means of circumventing censorship, but also a form of creative expression, a new dialect of the digital age. Imagine users employing Algospeak to craft intricate wordplay, to create playful linguistic puzzles, to explore the boundaries of online communication. Feel the artistic potential of Algospeak, the possibility of transforming coded language into a form of digital poetry. Consider the ethical implications of this evolving linguistic landscape. Imagine the challenges of maintaining online safety and preventing the spread of harmful content in a world where Algospeak is ubiquitous. Feel the tension between freedom of expression and the need for content moderation, the delicate balance between protecting users and preserving open communication. Picture policymakers grappling with the complexities of regulating Algospeak, struggling to develop effective strategies for addressing the challenges posed by this evolving form of online communication. Imagine the debates, the discussions, the search for solutions that balance the need for safety with the preservation of free speech. Feel the weight of these decisions, the impact they will have on the future of the digital landscape. Consider the role of education in navigating this complex terrain. Imagine users learning about Algospeak, understanding its origins, its evolution, and its potential impact on online communication. Feel the empowerment that comes with knowledge, the ability to critically analyze and interpret the language of the digital age. Picture educators incorporating Algospeak into their curricula, teaching students how to decipher coded language, how to recognize and understand the subtle nuances of online communication. Imagine a future where digital literacy includes the ability to navigate the complexities of Algospeak, to understand the hidden language of the algorithms. Feel the potential for greater understanding, for a more informed and engaged digital citizenry. Let these thoughts gently settle as you drift into sleep, carried on the currents of the digital age, the hum of the servers a lullaby for the sleepless historian, and the potential for misunderstanding. Imagine the subtle shifts in meaning, the nuances lost in translation, the potential for misinterpretation when coded language becomes the norm. Feel the ambiguity of Algospeak, the inherent uncertainty of deciphering hidden messages. Picture the challenges of communication in a world where words no longer carry their literal meaning, where context is everything and subtext reigns supreme. Imagine the frustration, the confusion, the potential for conflict when messages are misinterpreted, when intentions are misconstrued. Consider the impact on social cohesion, the erosion of trust, the fragmentation of online communities. Feel the fragility of online relationships, the vulnerability of communication in a world of coded language. Now, let us turn our attention to the broader societal implications of Algospeak. Imagine its influence on political discourse, the way it shapes online debates, the potential for manipulation and misinformation. Feel the weight of words, the power of language to sway public opinion, to mobilize social movements, to incite violence. Picture political actors employing Algospeak to circumvent censorship, to spread propaganda, to manipulate voters. Imagine the challenges of combating misinformation in a world where coded language obscures the truth, where propaganda masquerades as legitimate news. Feel the urgency of this challenge, the need for critical thinking, the importance of media literacy. Consider the impact of Algospeak on social movements, the way it empowers marginalized communities, the potential for organizing and resistance. Imagine activists using coded language to communicate securely, to coordinate protests, to evade surveillance. Feel the sense of solidarity, the power of collective action, the resilience of marginalized groups in the face of oppression. Picture social movements leveraging Algospeak to amplify their voices, to raise awareness, to challenge the status quo. Imagine the potential for positive social change, the power of coded language to facilitate democratic participation, to empower marginalized voices. Feel the hope, the possibility, the transformative potential of Algospeak in the hands of social movements. Now let us delve into the impact of Algospeak on online culture, the way it shapes online communities, the emergence of new forms of creative expression. Imagine online subcultures developing their own unique dialects of Algospeak, their own coded languages, their own inside jokes. Feel the sense of belonging, the shared identity, the camaraderie of online communities. Picture users employing Algospeak to express their creativity, to craft witty puns, to engage in playful banter. Imagine the emergence of new forms of online humor, the evolution of internet memes, the creative adaptation of coded language. Feel the dynamism of online culture, the constant evolution of language, the playful experimentation with words and symbols. Consider the impact of Algospeak on the relationship between humans and algorithms, the way it blurs the lines between human ingenuity and artificial intelligence. Imagine users developing increasingly sophisticated techniques to outsmart the algorithms, while algorithms evolve to anticipate and counteract these strategies. Feel the cyclical nature of this arms race, the constant back and forth between human creativity and algorithmic adaptation. Picture users and algorithms locked in a perpetual dance, a complex interplay of code and language. Imagine the emergence of new forms of artificial intelligence, algorithms capable of understanding not only the literal meaning of words, but also the subtle nuances of Algospeak. Feel the growing sophistication of these algorithms, the ability to decipher coded language, the potential to bridge the gap between human and machine communication. Now let us reflect on the ethical implications of Algospeak, the challenges it poses for content moderation, the need for responsible use of coded language. Imagine the potential for Algospeak to be used for harmful purposes, to spread hate speech, to incite violence, to facilitate cyberbullying. Feel the weight of this responsibility, the need for ethical considerations, the importance of using coded language responsibly. Picture policymakers grappling with the complexities of regulating Algospeak, balancing the need for online safety with the preservation of free speech. Imagine the debates, the discussions, the search for solutions that protect users while respecting their right to communicate freely. Feel the tension between these competing values, the challenge of finding a balance that safeguards both individual rights and collective well-being. Consider the role of education in promoting responsible use of Algospeak, in fostering digital literacy, in empowering users to navigate the complexities of online communication. Imagine educators incorporating Algospeak into their curricula, teaching students about the origins, evolution, and societal implications of coded language. Feel the potential for greater understanding, the power of education to empower users to promote responsible online behavior. Picture students learning how to decipher coded language, how to recognize and understand the subtle nuances of online communication, how to use Algospeak ethically and responsibly. Imagine a future where digital literacy includes the ability to navigate the complexities of Algospeak, to understand the hidden language of the algorithms, to engage in informed and responsible online communication. Let these thoughts gently settle as you drift deeper into sleep, the hum of the server's a soothing lullaby, the complexities of Algospeak fading into the background, replaced by the gentle rhythm of your breath, the soft embrace of slumber. Imagine a future where digital literacy includes the ability to navigate the complexities of Algospeak, to understand the hidden language of the algorithms, to engage in informed and responsible online communication. Feel the promise of this future, the potential for greater understanding, the hope for a more inclusive and equitable online world. Now let us turn our attention to the very fabric of Algospeak, the linguistic structures and patterns that give it its unique character. Consider the phonetic manipulations, the subtle shifts in pronunciation that allow users to bypass content filters. Imagine the elongation of vowels, the deliberate misspellings, the creative use of special characters. Hear the whispered variations, the almost imperceptible changes in sound that carry hidden meanings. Feel the tension between clarity and concealment, the delicate balance between effective communication and algorithmic evasion. Picture the deliberate misspelling of band as B at NN3D, the subtle substitution of numbers for letters, the playful distortion of a familiar word. Visualize the word on the screen, the jarring combination of letters and symbols, the coded message flashing across the digital landscape. Feel the thrill of subversion, the satisfaction of circumventing the censors, the quiet triumph of coded communication. Consider the semantic shifts, the repurposing of existing words to convey new meanings. Imagine the word tea no longer just a warm beverage but a coded reference to gossip or inside information. Hear the words spoken in hushed tones, the double meaning hanging in the air, the shared understanding between those in the know. Feel the sense of complicity, the insider knowledge, the subtle power of coded language. Picture a group of friends exchanging messages, the word tea appearing repeatedly, the context shifting with each usage. Visualize the rapid-fire exchange of messages, the coded language flowing seamlessly between them, the shared understanding solidifying their bond. Feel the intimacy of the exchange, the sense of belonging, the power of language to create and reinforce social connections. Contemplate the creation of neologisms, entirely new words coined specifically for the purposes of Algospeak. Imagine the word clout, a term born from the digital age, a shorthand for social influence or online popularity. Hear the word spoken with a knowing inflection, the weight of its meaning echoing in the digital sphere, the power of a single word to encapsulate a complex concept. Feel the dynamism of language, the constant evolution of meaning, the creative force of online community. Picture a social media post, the word clout prominently displayed, the context suggesting a pursuit of online fame. Visualize the likes accumulating, the comments pouring in, the word clout resonating with a vast online audience. Feel the pull of social validation, the allure of online recognition, the power of language to shape online behavior. Consider the use of abbreviations and acronyms, the shortening of words and phrases to create concise, easily digestible chunks of information. Imagine the acronym CIYMI, short for in case you missed it, a common Algospeak term used to recap important information or draw attention to overlooked content. Hear the acronym spoken quickly, the clipped syllables conveying a sense of urgency, the efficiency of coded language in a fast-paced online environment. Feel the pressure of staying informed, the constant influx of information, the need for shortcuts and abbreviations to navigate the digital deluge. Picture a news aggregator, the acronym CIMI flashing across the screen, directing users to important updates and breaking news. Visualize the scrolling headlines, the rapid-fire updates, the constant stream of information vying for attention. Feel the overwhelm of the digital age, the constant bombardment of information, the challenge of staying informed in a world of constant updates. Contemplate the use of emojis and emoticons, the small images and symbols that add emotional nuance to online communication. Imagine a winking face emoji, conveying irony or sarcasm, adding a layer of meaning beyond the literal words. See the yellow face, the single closed eye, the subtle curve of a smile. Feel the playful tone, the hidden meaning, the power of a small image to convey complex emotions. Picture a heated online debate, the winking face emoji appearing repeatedly, signaling sarcasm and disagreement. Visualize the back-and-forth exchange of messages, the emojis adding a layer of subtext, the online conversation unfolding in a complex interplay of words and symbols. Feel the tension of the debate, the clash of opposing viewpoints, the power of emojis to amplify and nuance online communication. Reflect on the intricate tapestry of Algospeak, the interwoven threads of phonetic manipulations, semantic shifts, neologisms, abbreviations, and emojis. Imagine the constant evolution of this coded language, the dynamic interplay between users and algorithms, the ongoing quest to communicate freely in the face of ever-changing online restrictions. Feel the ingenuity of human expression, the resilience of online communities, the enduring power of language to adapt and evolve in the digital age. Let these thoughts gently lull you deeper into sleep. the complexities of Algospeak fading into the background, replaced by the gentle rhythm of your breath, the soft embrace of slumber. And now, as we drift further into the tranquil realm of slumber, let us delve into the lexicon of Algospeak, a glossary of terms that have emerged from this fascinating interplay between human ingenuity and algorithmic constraint. Imagine a well-worn dictionary, its pages filled with the curious vocabulary of the digital age. Feel the weight of the book in your hands, the rough texture of the aged paper, the faint scent of old ink. Visualize the words arranged alphabetically, each entry a window into the ever-evolving world of online communication. Consider the term leaked, not in its traditional sense of unintentional disclosure, but as a deliberate act of Algospeak, a strategic release of information, often for purposes of social commentary or political activism. Hear the word whispered in hushed tones, the weight of its meaning amplified by the digital context. The power of Algospeak to subvert traditional channels of communication. Feel the thrill of clandestine information sharing, the sense of shared secrets, the power of Algospeak to bypass censorship and control. Picture the term ratioed, a marker of online disapproval, a sign that a post has received more critical replies than supportive ones. Visualize the comments section overflowing with negative reactions, the original poster overwhelmed by the tide of dissent, the word ratioed echoing in the digital echo chamber. Feel the sting of online criticism, the weight of public opinion, the power of Algospeak to shape online discourse. Contemplate the acronym MSM, short for mainstream media, often used in Algospeak to express skepticism or distrust of traditional news outlets. Hear the acronym spoken with a dismissive tone, the implication of bias and manipulation hanging in the air, the power of Algospeak to challenge established narratives. Feel the skepticism towards authority, the questioning of traditional sources, the power of Algospeak to foster independent thought. Imagine the term shadow banned, the act of being subtly censored on social media, a post hidden from view without the user's knowledge. Visualize a post disappearing into the digital void, the user unaware of its hidden status, the word shadow banned, whispering in the digital shadows. Feel the frustration of censorship, the sense of powerlessness, the power of Algospeak to expose hidden forms of online control. Consider the term bot, short for robot, referring to automated accounts, often used to amplify certain messages or manipulate online trends. See the automated posts, the repetitive comments, the artificial inflation of engagement. Feel the impersonal nature of bot activity, the manipulation of online conversations, the power of Algospeak to identify and expose these digital actors. Picture the acronym IRL, short for In Real Life, bridging the gap between the digital and physical worlds. Hear the acronym spoken casually, the blending of online and offline experiences, the power of Algospeak to connect the two realms. Feel the integration of digital and physical life, the blurring of boundaries, the power of Algospeak to reflect this evolving reality. Contemplate the term deepfake, a digitally manipulated video or audio recording that appears authentic but is actually fabricated. See the altered images, the manipulated voices, the blurring of reality and fiction. Feel the unease of deception, the erosion of trust, the power of Algospeak to identify and expose these digital fabrications. Imagine the term cancel culture, the phenomenon of withdrawing support for public figures or entities after they have done or said something considered objectionable. Visualize the online backlash, the calls for boycotts, the public shaming. Feel the intensity of online outrage, the swiftness of digital judgment, the power of Algospeak to reflect this complex social dynamic. Consider the term virality, the rapid spread of information or content online, often amplified by social media algorithms. See the exponential growth of shares and likes, the rapid dissemination of information, the word viral echoing in the digital sphere. Feel the excitement of online trends, the rapid spread of information, the power of Algospeak to capture this dynamic phenomenon. Picture the term doom scrolling, the act of endlessly scrolling through negative news or social media feeds, often leading to feelings of anxiety and despair. Visualize the endless stream of bad news, the feeling of being overwhelmed by negativity, the word doom scrolling capturing the addictive nature of this behavior. Feel the weight of online negativity, the drain on emotional well-being, the power of Algospeak to give a name to this common digital experience. Contemplate the use of emojis, not just as individual symbols, but as strings of interconnected images forming a coded language of their own. See the sequences of emojis, the hidden meanings conveyed through combinations of images, the power of visual communication. Feel the playful nature of emoji language, the creative use of symbols, the power of Algospeak to expand the possibilities of online expression. Reflect on this glossary of Algospeak terms, each word a testament to the dynamism and creativity of online language. Imagine the constant evolution of this coded language, the ongoing interplay between users and algorithms, the enduring power of human expression in the digital age. Let these words gently lull you deeper into sleep, the complexities of Algospeak fading into the background, replaced by the gentle rhythm of your breath, the soft embrace of slumber, the quiet peace of the night.